You've got Beyond Meat, the Impossible Burger, and quite a few plant-based meats out there, but would you eat a 3D printed steak? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. We're gonna be talking all about 3D printed food, specifically 3D printed meat. It's been a hot topic lately as companies are working away from slaughter-based butchering into other systems such as plant-based meats, and it's gotten so big that a lot of the major fast food chains out there now have options that utilize plant-based food. Interestingly, 3D printed meat is just getting there, and as someone that's never had the opportunity to try it, I totally would, because it's either gonna suck and make for a really interesting video, or it's going to be amazing. And companies like Cocuus, maybe? They're Spanish, are looking to change the game in 3D printed meat. And that's kind of interesting, because like one of the big things when you look at trying to print a steak is dealing with that texture, right? That fibrous muscle, the marbling of the fat. But you know, it would be pretty cool if I just said, okay, printer, make me an A7 Wagyu medium rare sous vide style. Because sous vide is really the right way to cook a steak. And if you disagree with me, let me know down in the comments. Sous vide with a proper sear, of course, because we're not savages. It'd be pretty friggin' cool, and probably would get more use in my household than for my business, but we could call it a write-off. I'd totally do it. But nonetheless, Cocuus is really looking to revolutionize food science, like it's literally their tagline, so I feel like that's not a bad way to introduce them. Also, their website's interactive, and that's just kind of fun. Now, mind you, they are a Spanish company, so a lot of the translations that you're going to see on their website, not what we would consider the best, but very interesting. And when I'm reading this, I look at, we develop industrial solutions for production of plant or cell-based animal protein analogs, mimetic food, using 2D or 3D laser printing, bioprinting, and robotics. I'm just like imagining your average everyday HP, Canon, whatever printer. You just kind of type in that you want a steak, and it's like makes the steak for you. It'd be kind of cool. It might smell a little weird, but when you consider that inkjet printing is still actually used heavily today, and I'm not just talking about 2D, I'm talking a lot about 3D, and it's one of the things that I'm actually an expert in. Inkjet-based 3D printing, where you utilize generally a gypsum-based powder and an inkjet, literally HP inkjets, to squirt a binder and ink solution onto the powder that you then infiltrate, so you just coat it in super glue. Yeah, I know, it sounds barbaric, it kind of is, but it makes for one of the greatest sandstone-like full-color experiences. And yes, HP, Mimaki, Stratasys all have different answers to these problems, but the full-color sandstone is still quite literally the most affordable by orders of magnitude. But nonetheless, the technology is clearly there. So how can this company look at taking that technology and utilizing it to make fibrous materials? Because that's really where it is. I've tried, impossible meat. I've tried plant-based substitutes and all that, and it always comes down to the texture, right? You can fake flavor relatively easily. It is very tough to fake texture, and especially when I'm not particularly the most picky, but I know the better three-quarters is very picky about texture. If you're going to claim the ability to 3D print meat, you better be hitting that texture dead freaking on, or you're going to get people that are a little unsatisfied with the product. Now, if it is sustainable, you might be willing to make a compromise. And me personally, yeah, I'd be willing to make a compromise if I could just print whatever quality of steak with whatever marbling I want. I could try random types of marbling. I could want to fillet one night, but you know what? Let's do an eye around the next, because for some reason I want to hate myself and try the best and then one of the worst cuts. But hey, I think it's fun. But Cocuus has some pretty interesting technology. Also, I do not know if this is real or just stock images. Very cool nonetheless. They have done it. Okay. They have done it using meat cells. So technically steak, but still 3D printed. It's meat, but it's meat cells. I can't recommend the marbling, unfortunately, although it is fun. But I will say that they do have something that is close to my heart because of the name. The Level Up Inkjet Printer, which is pretty awesome. You can, like, put your logo on the top of beer foam and on donuts and such. Like, come on. If you're a high-end restaurant and you want to have that special experience, come on. I mean, honestly, it's going to be 100 or 200 grand. You're a high-end restaurant. You can afford it. Raise your prices. We all know you're going to do it. But I think this really opens up doors to sustainable production of food. And as we look at the desire for humans to eat more rare, more specialized, and more of it when it comes to their diets, you have to look at sustainability options. Now, I can tell you, laser technology for food, I have tried this. I don't recommend it. So, fun things when you have a laser and you buy it for the first time. You're like, what can this cut? Will it cut through your hand? And like, I'm not going to stick my hand in the laser. Oh, no. No, no, no. We used some drumsticks, some chicken drumsticks, and cuts right friggin' through it. Like a hot knife through butter, because literally that's basic. It's a concentrated beam of photons. And let me know, I really do want to dive into lasers. But let me know if you guys want to see it. Just comment below, let me know. And while you're down there, make sure to leave a like and get subscribed. I can tell you, lasers in the kitchen, it may not work out all that well because, yeah, it was terrible. You can easily cut a drumstick, no problem. You can engrave on steaks. You can cut a pizza with a laser. But see, it's not like you're cutting it with a knife. You're literally cutting it with a very, 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 very hot knife. That hot knife is quite literally destroying the cells as it goes through it. So you're not charring, you're destroying cells, and it ends up tasting like crap. Now, on a decently thick steak, burning in a logo on the top of it like you see here for the fish may not affect the taste all that much, but I would bet on a small piece of fish like that, burning in that deep, gonna make the fish taste like crap. But Cocuus seems to have a way that they can beat this. Now, that looks like some sort of bread crab thing. Apple looks like apple, and just some other items. And I think that there's value here, but something tells me this is just a carbon dioxide laser because it looks just like a carbon dioxide laser. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's how you solve the chip shortage, ladies and gentlemen. And on something like a vegetable where you can just burn away the cells and it's not that bad, you should be okay. And if you notice, is that even real? I don't think that's real. There is doubt. Also, that looks like a perfect sous vide steak, so I'm going to give him credit for that. That is a medium rare all the way through with a nice crust on the outside. A+ for that. And this is cool, but you can clearly see the burn marks, and I will tell you this apple is not going to taste great. And of course, it's going to start oxidizing, so the color shift may not be that drastic. It's a great way to do presentation. And yes, you can engrave onto bananas. We have also done this. It tastes like crap. Although on bananas, if you don't go through the peel, it's just hilarious. We definitely, and I don't have photos of it anymore, but we definitely found the straightest banana we could and engraved a ruler onto it so we could have a banana for scale. I think this does open up a lot of opportunities for food businesses that want to kind of look at an alternative. And quite frankly, if you're a food business and you're looking for an alternative, I got someone you need to meet. His name is Evan Weinstein, and he owns Cocuus. Cocuus is a chocolate 3D printer, and let's be real here, ladies and gentlemen. It's not going to be cheap. I think they're right around 10 grand. But if you have a business that is a chocolate-based business, or you have a dessert menu that rivals dessert menus out there, this might not be a bad option for you to do something that is unique, right? The idea of having a laser for your food is that it is unique. Let's take a look at this thing in action. It is a carbon dioxide laser. Not only is it a carbon dioxide laser, that is a Ruida controller. It is one of the common Chinese laser controller boards. It's what our laser has. You can run them on Lightburn. I have a feeling this is not as unique as they're telling us it is. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Lightburn. I look at that. That's the first time I've watched this video. Hand to God, that's the first time I've watched this video. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Lightburn, and I can prove it because I was doing something in Lightburn earlier. It's the same dang program. Okay? So as you can see, they're moving very slow. So they're likely keeping the power of the laser very, very low to deal with this. It's cool, but it's probably going to taste bad. Yeah, that smoke is not like, you know, a charbroil at Burger King. It's not going to taste good. I mean, it looks cool. And Cocuus is really looking at being able to go beyond these two systems and look into specifically bioprinting. Now, of course, I have not been in contact with them. We actually saw them from 3dprint.com's article all about slaughter-free 3D printed meats from Cocuus and SavorEat because they were featured in Stardust Insights top 10 list for awesome food innovations. And you know what? I'm gonna give them credit. It's a pretty cool list. We'll link everything down in the description so you guys can read it for yourselves. But we don't know if this is all real photos or if they're stock photos. We know that these are real because we've seen that before. But I'd like to believe that they're able to effectively combine the powers of inkjet 3D printing, of binder jetting 3D printing, where you can get something more fibrous, and utilize either meat cells or a plant-based something or other to build a meat analog. Because ultimately, the population of this world is not declining anytime soon. And if we are to look at sustainable and affordable ways to continue to survive, we have to look beyond traditional farming. Now, don't get me wrong, traditional farming is great, and I highly recommend that you support your local farms. But as we need to grow, and as the cities move into the suburbs, and the suburbs move into the rural, and if you live in the rural areas, you know what I'm saying. In the past, I don't know, few years, there's been slated for over 10,000 homes within a 5-mile radius of where I live. I used to live in the country. It ain't no country no more. It's becoming the suburbs, and that's the way things go. And that's good for property value, but it's really bad considering that most of the land that's being turned into cookie-cutter homes used to be farmland, and it was where they had free-range cattle and, you know, small crops of corn and other plants that enabled, well, sustainability. And what happens here, right? Companies like Walmart, Sam's Club, they're the same company, Costco, and other big box stores just push for prices lower and lower and lower so that they can get consumers in the door, forcing farmers to either produce more stuff for less money or hyper specialize. And let's be real, cattle take up a lot of space, and unless you're really going after those premium species of cattle, you may not be getting the best bang for your buck on your land. And that's why we see a lot of farmers are adding apiaries onto their land. They're maybe adding other types of animals along with the cows. It is common to see donkeys. They're the bouncers of the animal world. Just look up donkeys. They're very friendly until you piss them off. But with 4 patents and 1 in the process of approval, this is actually pretty promising as far as I'm concerned. If any of you have some sort of connection to Cocuus or know somebody that does, I would love to get in contact with them, because I want to try it. I want to try it. I want to try a 3D printed steak. I want to try a 3D printed burger. I want to try 3D printed food. As someone that loves 3D printing, to understand how this technology is working better would be amazing. Now, understandably, these companies are holding a lot of this technology very close to their chest, because I'm guessing there's only a few very small special things, and then the rest of it can be utilized with off-the-shelf components, similar to what we saw with their laser glow. It's a CO2 laser cutter using light burn. Like, it's cool, but I did this years ago, screwing around in my shop when we first got our laser, and I'll never do it again because it was a really dumb idea. I like this kind of tagline, because there is no planet B. I like what they're doing here if we can look at a way to make it sustainable. And I think realistically it comes down to, how do we grow the meat cells, right? Getting meat cells isn't no big deal. You can go to your local supermarket and pick it up. But as long as the process kind of ticks all the boxes, the texture is there, please, dear God, let the texture be there. I don't see why we wouldn't look toward adopting this on a mass scale. Now, I know at least here in the United States, the FDA, the Food Drug Administration, their process is very difficult, and it will take millions of dollars to get something like this approved in the United States. However, Europe might be a little bit easier, and with them being based in Spain, they can get a lot of this red tape taken care of during the research and development process, where normally in the United States, the FDA is not too keen on looking at things that aren't ready just yet. So let's take a look at the other company, SavorEat. I will say both of these companies have like stellar freaking websites. A+ to whoever's designing them. So delicious. Oh god, an FDM 3D printer. That's hilarious. It's a Prusa clone. That's a pancake printer. And that's a burger. Yay, stock images! It's delicious, unique experience, taste and texture of meat. It is plant-based, it is automatic, and personalized. I'm liking all this so far. Probably not an FDM 3D printer, but that's fine. You can literally have it low-fat. I guess that makes sense. Rich in protein, lighter. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to make it custom, you might as well do it. We actually had a conversation with some other people in the industry all about like 3D printed vitamins, where you could get a blood draw, figure out exactly what vitamins you need, and a company could custom make you a pill, a chewable, whatever, that was precisely what you needed. You wouldn't just take like 5,000 IUs of vitamin D, and maybe you really need like 5,200. And yeah, 5,000 gets you close enough, but 5,200 gets you right there. Ladies and gentlemen, that extra 200 is worth a couple of dollars, especially to those with the disposable income. I like the idea of plant-based meat, but I'm sorry that it doesn't... You tell me it has the taste and texture, and I just look at that and say, this is not the texture. It doesn't look like it. Now, it could be the way that they're cooking it. But this is beautiful, right? First off, amazing photos, right? That nice, good, flaky salt, the caramelized onions. Come on, caramelized onions. I'm gonna need a burger when we're done with this video. Good Lord have mercy. But let's take a look at their demo. Okay, let's make our meatless meat product. Start here. Okay, so they're looking at doing seafood as well as kebabs, but they're gonna start with a burger. So let's go next. Sporty, the chef's choice, and juicy. Well, nobody's ever called me juicy before, and sporty, I don't think I would define someone who needs a cane to walk as being sporty. So let's go with the chef's choice. select a size. Well, ladies, I mean, come on. This is America. Now, I will say, can you make a good smash burger? All right? Because, like, I'm just saying, smash burger. Give me smash burgers. Otherwise, 220 grams, that's basically a half-pound burger. That's a little much. Let's go with the nice medium, like a 130 gram. Let's take a look at this. And cooking level, there. Yes. This is a great kind of UI, UX. Your burger's in the making. 2 minutes have passed. Still doing our magic. About 6 minutes so far. And that's it. If it is truly that easy, and if you had a burger printer of some sort, it's actually a pretty cool thing. I'll show you your order history, which you can see, which is 3:47 a.m. Is that UTC? Yeah, I think that's UTC. And of course, you can message them. So I'm going to message these guys because I do want to learn more about their technology, because ultimately, this is really one of the cool things for 3D printing. And 3D printing does cool stuff. I mean, the first 3D printed bridge was just installed. And let me know if you want to learn more about that, because I think it's awesome. Just like my segue to our sponsor, 3D Musketeers. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. As always, we are going to be self-sponsoring these until we get sponsors of our own. And if you want to get your ideas out of your head and into your hands with full arch part, rapid prototyping, product development, utilizing cool technology like you see behind me, you can reach out to us at 3D Musketeers. Links will be in the description down below. I do believe there is value. Now, I've never quite enjoyed the Impossible Burgers and everything. They're not bad, but they're not what I would consider good. They're passable. I'm going to reach out to these guys because I liked this article. The idea that we could effectively make our own food and sustainably, reliably, and yes, you can get rid of cows and replace it with plants, but eventually you're too many crops. But look, hydroponics, there's more efficient ways to do it. We can stack plants easily. It's tough to stack cows unless you're into that kind of thing. I'm not here to judge. But I do believe that plant-based food is going to be part of really the future, where you can choose your level of protein, different nutrients, and different textures and doneness, so you can have a burger well done. You would be a savage, or you can have your burger medium rare, which is the correct answer. And if you disagree, I'll argue with you in the comments over this. And if you can truly hit that mark, I think a lot of meat eaters will kind of be the hill they die on, which is, I want it to feel like I'm eating a steak. Because your mind is used to something, right? If you are blindfolded and you can't see, you can't hear, maybe even your nose is plugged so you can't smell the steak, you can eat it and know reasonably certain that it's a steak, right? The protein, the way that you chew it, it's a natural thing that those of us that eat meat are used to. Now, I recognize that Beyond Meat and the Impossible Burgers are pretty amazing for what they are. And I would give them like a solid B+. But I think to get some of those hardcore country meat-eating, people that have the beef, it's what's for dinner signs at the front of their houses, you gotta match that texture. And I'll be keeping an eye on SavorEat and Cocuus, because I do believe there's a lot of value here. But I'd like to hear from you guys. What do you think of this whole 3D printed meat thing? I think it's awesome. Now, mind you, I am all about the 3D printed chocolate, all right? Your boy here loves him some chocolate, and the owner of Cocoa Press is a dear friend. Love the guy to death, and am incredibly excited to see him, really get there. Like, the guy had his printer featured online as tech tips. Come on, that's pretty darn cool. But yes, when it comes to utilizing crazy technology, your steak has to look better than this for me to choose it over a regular steak when I am shopping. Now, if you tell me this is 3D printed and it's a steak, I don't care what the hell it looks like. I'm gonna give it a try. But that's just because I'm in this industry and I think it would also make for a really cool video. But let me know down in the comments, would you try 3D printed food? Do you think there are any risks involved? Do you think that science is getting a little too out of control and we should just let nature do its thing? I'd love to hear from you. And hey, while you're down there, don't forget to get subscribed, leave a like on this video, and don't forget to call your loved ones as well. And as always, keep making awesome. Have a good one. I want to try a 3D printed burger. I want to try 3D printed food. I'm certainly not a connoisseur of food, but we carry a little around the middle. I'm not going to say we're not seasoned, but we're certainly not professionals when it comes to food. And hey, thanks again for watching this video. 3D printed meat is still crazy to me, and I think you all might enjoy it. If you want to learn more about 3D printed food, let me know. We've been trying to convince ourselves to buy a pancake 3D printer because it would just be a lot of fun. So let me know in the comments if you want me to get one of those. And if you stayed this long, you'll be the only one that know what we're talking about because it's just between us girls. But right below me is going to be a playlist all about the types of 3D printing, which we did not talk about food-based 3D printing because there really just isn't a dead-on way to do it. Down there is going to be a perfect video picked just for you. And of course, next to me could be your name once the Patreon is set up, coming soon. I will see you all down in the comments. Take care.